Imagine a world where every single interaction, every private moment, every hushed confession isn't truly private. Imagine feeling eyes on you, not from a stalker, but from an unseen, all-pervasive presence that you can't escape. What if the very fabric of our modern existence, interwoven with technology we can't live without, has created an invisible cage where privacy is just a comforting illusion? And what if the most terrifying part isn't the watching itself, but why nobody ever truly talks about this deeply unsettling fear? To truly grasp this pervasive, silent dread, we need to peel back the layers of history, starting not with silicon chips, but with simple observation. For centuries, surveillance was a physical act, a guard tower, a nosy neighbor, a town crier reporting on activities. It was localized, often visible, and its scope was inherently limited by human capacity. The Panopticon, Jeremy Bentham's architectural concept of a prison where a single observer could watch all inmates without them knowing if they were being watched, was a chilling theoretical blueprint. It highlighted the psychological power of perceived surveillance, that the possibility of being watched was enough to enforce behavioral conformity. This wasn't just about catching criminals, it was about control. Fast forward to the early 20th century, and the rise of photography and rudimentary recording devices began to broaden the scope. Propaganda films, government monitoring of dissidents, and the slow creep of closed-circuit television cameras, each step, seemingly small on its own, contributed to a gradual erosion of personal space. The fear, then, was often specific: the watchful eye of the state, the prying neighbor. But it was a fear that operated within clearly defined boundaries. The true transformation, the one that makes our modern predicament so unique and frightening, lay in wait just beyond the horizon. Then came the digital revolution, and with it, a landscape so thoroughly transformed that it made all prior forms of surveillance seem almost quaint. Today, the eyes aren't just in guard towers, they're in our pockets, on our wrists, and embedded in the very walls of our smart homes. Consider your smartphone. It's a tracking device, a listening device, and an observation tool all in one. It logs your location, your search history, your purchases, and even your heart rate. Smart speakers, always on, waiting for a wake word, are recording snippets of our most private conversations, sometimes mistakenly. Smart TVs collect viewing habits, selling that data to advertisers. Our cars, increasingly connected, gather information on our driving patterns, our routes, even who is in the vehicle. Every click, every like, every scroll on social media isn't just an interaction. It's a data point, meticulously collected, analyzed, and synthesized into a detailed digital profile of who you are, what you like, and what you might do next. This isn't just about targeted ads for a new pair of shoes. It's about predictive analytics, about understanding human behavior on a mass scale. Corporations, eager for profit, and governments, hungry for control, have become the twin pillars of this new surveillance state. The fear is no longer of a single, identifiable watcher, but of an omnipresent, invisible network. It's the unsettling feeling that every digital footprint you leave behind, no matter how small, is being scrutinized, categorized, and stored indefinitely. This constant, unacknowledged monitoring creates a subtle, self-policing mechanism. We start to censor ourselves, to perform for the unseen audience, to avoid expressing thoughts or actions that might be scrutinized, misinterpreted, or held against us later. The psychological toll is immense, a quiet anxiety that festers beneath the surface of our digital lives, often unexamined, rarely discussed. But here's the truly chilling part. Despite this pervasive reality, why is the fear of being watched so rarely a topic of mainstream conversation? Why aren't we collectively screaming about this digital panopticon? Part of the answer lies in its insidious integration into daily life. It's the convenience factor. We willingly trade chunks of our privacy for the seamless experience of online shopping, personalized recommendations, and instant communication. We hit agree on terms and conditions without reading them, signing away our data rights with a single tap. Another part is the normalization by design. We're told repeatedly that if you have nothing to hide, you have nothing to fear. This insidious phrase shifts the burden of proof, implying that privacy is only for the guilty. It's a psychological weapon designed to shame dissent and encourage acceptance. Then there's the sheer complexity. The algorithms that power this surveillance are opaque, their machinations hidden behind layers of proprietary code and trade secrets. How do you fear something you can't fully comprehend? How do you fight an enemy that is everywhere and nowhere all at once? Furthermore, the economic engine driving this surveillance is colossal. Our data is the new oil, generating billions for tech giants and advertising firms. These powerful entities have a vested interest in keeping the conversation muted, in making us believe that this is simply the unavoidable price of modernity. Any widespread public outcry would threaten their bottom line, so they often frame their data collection as enhancing user experience, never as intrusive monitoring. This normalization has profound consequences. It slowly erodes our sense of individual autonomy, subtly shaping our behaviors and even our thoughts. If every search query, every email, every location ping is recorded, how free are we truly to explore dissenting ideas, to read controversial opinions, or to simply be ourselves without judgment? The very concept of a private sphere, a sanctuary where we are free from external scrutiny, is dissolving before our very eyes, yet we whisper about it only in hushed tones, if at all. So, what does this mean for the future? Are we hurtling towards a fully transparent society where privacy is an antiquated concept, a luxury only for the powerful? The trajectory seems to point in that direction. Facial recognition technology is becoming ubiquitous, not just in airports but in shopping malls and even schools. Biometric data, once the stuff of science fiction, is now casually collected for unlocking phones or authenticating payments. The potential for misuse is staggering, from targeted political manipulation to the creation of social credit systems that reward conformity and punish individuality. Yet, there's a delicate balance. Awareness is the first step. Understanding the mechanisms of surveillance, questioning the convenience it offers, and demanding stronger data protection laws are crucial. Perhaps the fear of being watched, this quiet, unspoken dread, needs to move from the subconscious to the conscious, to become a catalyst for collective action. Because if we don't start talking about it, truly talking about it, and challenging the forces that profit from our data, then the walls of this invisible cage will only grow stronger, and the whispers we make in private will truly be the only sounds left, until even those are monitored. If you're pondering the future implications of our digital footprint, the next video explores the chilling rise of deepfakes and the terrifying erosion of truth in an age of manufactured realities.